Good evening. Welcome to the open book. We are here again. Y'all, this month we have been busy. Each week we've been having some awesome discussions. And tonight we're going to have another awesome discussion. Recently I was on Facebook and we have a group and it's for Black educators. And I came across a story that was such an inspiring story, y'all. I was like, okay, I hope she will come on the open book and just really share her story because Shante Lane Teramat is on here tonight and she is making history in education. So tonight we're going to talk to her and hear all about her journey and some great things that she's doing in the Maryland area. So y'all know I'm from Texas and I told her, you may have to kind of tell us Texans, a little bit about the area because the only thing I know about Maryland is probably the Ravens, and I think they're losing right now. That's the only thing I've heard about with Maryland, but I heard it has a tri-state area, kind of like New York and so forth. But she's going to talk to us. Here at the Open Book, we usually host guest authors, but we also have panel discussions. We have recently some open forums and so forth. And so tonight is just one of those open forums that we're going to discuss Discovery Lane and her journey to get to Discovery Lane. So we want to welcome you tonight. Thank you so much for being our special guest, Shante. Now, before we start this discussion tonight, I wanted to show you all a quick video. And this gives a little background about what Discovery Lane is all about. I'll be with you shortly. Thank you for your patience. Okay, here we go.
No environment has taught me as much as Discovery Lane. As a teacher in various elementary environments, from 2003 until now, Discovery Lane offered me a chance to grow in a way that none of those environments had offered before. With the curriculum of Reggio Emilia, it pushed me as an educator to open my mind and open my viewpoints on how to deliver instruction.
We chose Discovery Lane because just walking into the place when we first discovered Discovery Lane, we just got a warm feeling. We really felt at home. We saw all of the interaction that they were doing with the kids. We really got an in-depth look of what they would be doing on a day-to-day basis. And Miss Alice was great. Miss Shante was great. She answered all of the questions that I had regarding, the curriculum and everything. So we really felt that this was the best choice for our son to flourish, and we're so glad that we made the decision to bring him to the Discovery.
So AJ started from pick up, and what I've seen was the different levels that Discovery Lane offered. Learning his name, spelling his name, actually learning who he really is, as far as like I'm talking about the transitioning, and it teaches them to more of an urge to learn and more urge to want to know, about just about everything and anything.
Discovery Lane is an awesome place because of its curriculum, because it's family oriented, and because the kids are excited about cooking. And I was searching for a curriculum similar to Montessori. I Googled what was near me, and Discovery Lane came up. What I would tell other families interested in Discovery Lane is, why not? Right? If you want your child to have the best educational journey, a great head start. If you want community, if you want family, if you want communication, if you want, there's so many different experiences here that why not was my question. You should come in today. Why Shante Lane? They have a face paint. Because they have face paint? They have face paint outside. Because they got I love to see Chase. You love to see Chase in Mr. Johnny's class.
He's so cute. Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Oh, they're so cute. Look, hopefully I can talk you into having a discovery lane here in Texas. I saw that video and I'm like, I would love for my son to go there. He's 4 now and he would love that. But Shante, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what prompted you to want to start this school.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, perfect. I'm like in the midst of a storm right now and I'm right by the window, so there might be some lightning and some thunder. So hopefully our power doesn't go out. But yeah, what prompted me to start, the thunder is coming right now. What prompted me to start Discovery Lane, it was my mom and I, we had a vision about having a progressive pedagogy, particularly in a marginalized community. Oftentimes when you have your Montessoris and your Reggios, they're a majority in affluent white communities. And so there's an absence of them even in affluent Black communities. And so that's what really prompted us to really think about how we wanted to reimagine early childhood education in those spaces. And also, I think too, is really for me, it was really disrupting the preschool to prison pipeline. So I know we'll get into this, but initially we were just a preschool, and so now we are serving kiddos that are in first grade, but that was the initial idea.
Wow. So, I'm glad that you said that because that does happen. That prison pipeline, we see that a lot. Okay, so backing up, so how long has it been since you had this idea? Because I think looking back, I was watching some of the videos and this has been something that's been taking place for a few years. How long has it been?
So the idea came in 2014, and then 2015 we acquired this space, and then 2016 we opened our doors.
Oh, okay.
So that's when we were a preschool up until about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So yes, or I should say just a preschool. We do still serve preschool age kiddos. So yeah, that's sort of how the idea came about.
Okay. So now you have made history in a phenomenal way. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means right now? How are you making history in Maryland?
Yeah, so when we were able to operate as a preschool, and we were governed under child care licensing in our area, so they govern all kiddos were not in grade school, so no kiddos in kindergarten and above are that agency, that the next agency for kindergartners and above would be Maryland Department of Education. So when we went, when COVID happened, a lot of our parents were like, would you consider doing kindergarten? And so we were like, yeah, we would consider that. So we started going through the process, and we hit sort of a delay when it was discovered that private schools, private elementary and secondary schools were not permissible in the zone that we serve. So the zone is only about 300 acres or so. And so it was not a permissible use. And that's when we had to work to change the law. And they were very, the agencies that oversee that, so like the planning development, they were very, very supportive, but it was a very laborious process. So we had to go through the planning commission. First of all, I had to write a statement of justification and pay like $1,300 just to even have my application considered. And then we went to the planning commission. And at the planning commission, we went to the county commissioners. And Maryland Department of Education, they were very gracious, and they extended their deadline to meet the commissioner's deadline, because they don't meet at all in August, they have a recess. And so everything came to a close. I believe it was September 29th, if I'm not mistaken. that's when they did the vote, and then they signed all the forms necessary for us to operate as a private school.
So, I mean, changing laws and things like that cannot be an easy task. How do you keep yourself like motivated during that time to keep going with this?
Well, I definitely like our parents really championed this on. This is something they really wanted, and they wrote an abundance of letters, and they were participatory in the public hearing. Our teaching team was really involved in the process, particularly Miss Rain, our program director. She's actually under our program director. She helped me write some of the statement of justification and scanning things in. Really, we just had to be patient. There's nothing we could really do. Like, we couldn't speed up the process. Our families, they signed their kiddos up for homeschooling. So what we did was, which was becoming, more of a thing, or home-based learning. And so they signed their children up for homeschooling, and we provided the homeschooling instructions. That's what we did actually the first year as our workaround. And then we told parents, okay, well, the start of the school year, we consider enrolling them again, because we won't be a school officially until like September 29th, if the law passes. And so they, again, signed their kids up for homeschooling. And then once it was official, they were able to disenroll, because if that law didn't get passed, we would have had to wait another year, because Maryland Department of Education, they only approve once the school year, and the children have to have so many days in school. So we were really cutting it close with that October date for them to have, I think, 180 some days in school.
Wow. So it's like you had to pivot, and that was very smart to start with the homeschooling part. Even now, like, a lot of parents are wanting that service because here in Texas, I don't know how it is in Maryland. We had virtual learning, but most districts right now are not offering virtual learning. Most parents, or some parents, I should say, have even expressed, going to homeschooling. That's not something parents are equipped to do. Not everyone has that gift of teaching and that patience. So having a service like that is so beneficial. Do you just offer that service locally, or is it something that you do like if someone's in another city or another state?
So when COVID first hit, we were really trying to navigate, like, how do we assist, because we're a business too. So how do we, in our business, sustain through parent tuition? So when it first, was under development, and obviously things were shutting down, we were losing a lot of our enrollment. A lot of our children were leaving. We were probably down to like 15 children. And so we did offer virtual for our preschool children, and we had kiddos that stayed in our preschool program the entire, from September 2020 to they were there to June 2021, or like May 2021. And they were in virtual the entire time, and that was our preschool age. Once everyone returned back to school, we were in 2021 in September, we sort of discontinued offering virtual learning. We did do quite a few webinars. We'll probably resume some of those again. But our focus becoming a private school, so we really had to prioritize that. But we did offer virtual preschool, and parents did pay for private virtual preschool.
And so you all are the first and only private elementary school in your area, is that correct?
In the zone that we serve. So there's about 300 square feet. We probably are one of, I believe, I have to check this, I believe we're the only probably Black owned. Definitely one that's not affiliated with a church. There's not a lot of private schools actually in our area. So when Maryland Department of Education came down, because we're in Southern Maryland, when they came down, he said, we don't, the person oversees the private school and our independent schools. He said, we don't really come down here too often. We don't have too many schools, like private schools in the Charles County area. Wow. So most of them are affiliated, most private schools are affiliated with churches. But he did say there's been an increase in private schools. I think as many people have seen, definitely people being more, driven and motivated by that, to give parents as many options as possible.
Yes, I agree. And it's really needed, because more parents were willing to pay to get that type of service. So can you tell us a little bit about like the demographics in that area, and you come up against like any obstacle in regards to when you started this process in that area?
Say one more time, sorry about the process, apologize.
No, it's okay. Like during this process, based off of the demographics in that area, did you come up against any obstacles when trying to be the first? Because you were the first to really do this in that particular zone. Did you come up against any obstacles during that process?
Well, certainly it was an obstacle of the law not being present. And so Maryland Department of Education, you know, they're ready. They were like, oh yeah, let's go forth. But then it was that roadblock because we can't operate if it's not permissible in the zone that we serve. So that therefore we're not going to get that form signed that's necessary for us to operate as that business. As far as like our parents and the community, no, they were really behind us. We've been there. We've had an established presence since 2015. So when we wanted to become a school, I mean, the very first day we went to the school, we had children ready to go because the parents, you know, they had enrolled their children in the whole homeschooling. So they were like, we're ready. So we're very blessed with that. I don't know what next year, you know, as we're progressing. So we're going to be really revving up our enrollment for next school year. We do get calls all the time. Before COVID happened, we had a wait list. And then when COVID hit, we had to rebuild that. Now, when we first started our business in 2015, that was certainly a challenge because we were new. We had no community ties. I'm not from the area. My mother's not from the area. And so, yes, that was really definitely forging and building relationships. But once we got to the part of being an independent school, we had been in preschool for so long that we had, you know, stronger community ties and you know, people could see those early deposits that they put in their children. And many of our parents who had enrolled their kids in preschool actually returned for our ribbon cutting ceremony. So that was definitely much easier. I think if we wanted to start as a private school, it might have been harder because we don't have any ties to the community. People don't really, and you're like Reggio, like, what is that? Like, it's much harder, but certainly we built a brand. I can't believe, I think we've been doing this now for 6 years. I can't believe that time just goes so fast. So being a private school is definitely new. We're building that up, but being an institution of education and learning, we've been that since 2016.
Wow, congratulations. I mean, that is like really awesome. So, what were some things that you did in the community to really get them involved and, you know, to make your presence known in the community? What are some of the things that you all did?
So I think I credit social media a lot. I mean, now social media is like even bigger than it was 5 years ago. It's like explosive, I feel like, but definitely social media, definitely having a very dynamic website in terms of it being interactive and just being like, you know, up to the times, attending like different community events that they would have centered around early childhood development. So they have like this annual, I don't think they've had it since COVID, but they have this annual event in Charles County. Also being just boots on the ground, so passing out flyers. Before COVID, I didn't do hardly any speaking engagements. Now with COVID, I do speaking engagements all the time. So yeah, it has been, it's been that's sort of the process of how we sort of got, and just really time. You know, it's just going to take time, and then word of mouth. Like that's the biggest thing. Parents are going to tell their parents about it as their children go through the program.
And that is so true because word of mouth is like the most powerful marketing tool. It can go either good or bad. So it's good to always keep the word of mouth, you know, what's in their mouth good. So you said that you had started this school with your mom, like that idea came into fruition with you all together. How is that like discovering the school with your mom and working alongside of her?
I mean, certainly it's my mom, so it took a bit of a, you know, so like you have a relationship, we're very close. And so we had to really learn how to work as partners. I mean, we're much better now, but in the beginning, it was definitely, I'm not going to say it was easy because I have my personality is one way, her personality is another way. And we've never worked in that capacity before. It's always just been a mother-daughter relationship. And I wouldn't say, I guess sisterly or best, I would say friends. And so it is hard when you're trying to build something with a family member, especially when it's your mom. But fortunately we were close and we got over that hurdle. But again, it's just learning our different personalities. I think one that really helps, I'm not at the school every single day. I probably go like 2-3 times a week. Maybe sometimes less than that, depending on like the weather and such. Because I live about an hour outside of Discovery Lane. So that does help that I'm not always like present. And so that gives balance that you don't have like two like owners, two figureheads always present. Because that can be intense, I think, for the team. It can be intense for us too, because I'm always like wanting to fix every little thing. But yeah, no, I definitely think it was definitely something we had to overcome. But I would definitely encourage people to work with their family. There's 4 generations at Discovery Lane. My mom and I just we co-own it, but my grandmother is she does our payroll and assists with like administrative things, like getting vendors to come to the school and prepare things. And then we have my cousin is a teacher at Discovery Lane, and then my little cousin actually attended Discovery Lane. Oh, actually, 2 of my cousins did.
My goodness, a family affair. Love that, because you can really, grow with your family and trust your family because you know your family. And to have something awesome like that can be handed down from generation to generation is awesome. Now, like right now in the educational field, a lot of teachers are leaving, whether it's through retirement or if it's through just trying to find another profession. Okay, so at your school, have you had a challenge of finding teachers, or do you have a plan of recruiting teachers?
Yeah, I think certainly we've had our challenge with finding teachers. And it has been very tiring, with that process. We're not sure, we're like not exempt from experiencing just a national labor shortage. Really, I don't think it's just in the teaching profession. I don't really know when this will end. I think it's just really just making, having our admin be as flexible as can. Fortunately, I taught in the classroom, so is my mom. So actually all of our administrators have. So we have to understand about being flexible. Recruitment, we try, your typical, platforms. Also, we try to build teachers from within. So when we have teachers that are partner teachers, we try to work with them to expand their or give them opportunity or pay for classes for them to advance themselves in certification so that they can be teachers. That's something we kind of always did. I always like to have teachers that were once partner teachers. It's kind of hard coming into our program as a lead teacher and understanding Reggio approach and project-based learning unless you really went to school for that. So we really try to center a lot of our work around that, but we're definitely not exempt from experiencing a shortage or feeling the effects of that. And even some of our kiddos get services in the county, like their specialized services through the public school. So right now the bus drivers are on strike in our area. So if a kid that's like the bus is not picking them up, to take them to the public school to get services. I mean, it's certainly been like, you get over one thing and then you're experiencing another. So now we're back, and we were always really operating, but now everybody's back in the classrooms. But we're experiencing sort of that delay not delay, we're experiencing the impacts of a shortage, right? And then also too, like things are coming late and you're trying to order things, getting PPE. I think I'm saying it right. So
Yes.
yeah. So those things certainly impact how well, yes, we have experienced. It's been very hard, particularly in early child education. It's very hard to find teachers. People are really leaving the profession in great numbers. And I think too is you don't have as many people going into the profession, right? So you have a lot more people retiring than you have those coming in. So we're looking at those trends. I don't see this being resolved for some time, for some years maybe. It was already going in that direction. I just think that COVID exacerbated it more.
And you're telling the truth, because I know recently I read an article and it said that even at the college level, a lot of the students are no longer really enrolling in the educational classes. So you're right about that. One more question. So what advice would you give someone that is starting a venture, such as a school? Some people may have a desire to start a school or to start a new business. What advice do you have for them when it comes to something like this?
Honestly, it's really hard to answer that question because it just depends on like where you at in the process. I do get people often asking me like, how can I start a school? Where can I begin? I mean, honestly, really, if you want to be a charter school, you want to be a nonprofit for-profit, you want to be, a private for-profit, if you want to be an independent nonprofit. I really, really think it just depends on where you are in the process, what state you live in. Every state is different. Every situation is going to be really different. I think what I can tell you is just stay the course, really get familiar with the agencies that you work around, really try to start with your immediate supporters, usually your family, your close friends. And then really think about how you want to create a business plan and really think about what your focus is going to be, what age group you're going to really focus on, what's going to be your pedagogy, what's going to be your curriculum focus. So I really think about that. But that question is very hard to answer because literally everybody is at a different part of where they are in their business. Like when we were starting ours, we were already an established preschool. Somebody else may be starting from like the ground up. Somebody else may be acquiring a building space. Somebody might be building a building from the ground up. I think it really, really just depends on where you are in that process. So I think that question could be answered in so many various ways. But I definitely, like I said, I would get familiar with the agencies in your area and sort of kind of go from there.
Okay, I agree. I appreciate that. Now, how would someone, if someone wants to follow you or your school and see some of the awesome things, how can they follow Discovery Lane?
So you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Just Discovery Lane. So it's
That's simple enough.
yeah.
Discovery Lane. Is there anything else you would like to share with us today? I really enjoyed this conversation and learning more about it.
No, I don't think so. I think, I just always tell, it's my quote that I live by, my life mantra. It's Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. We need more of us that look like us opening schools. We need more representation. We need more of us in leadership roles and consulting. And there's a space for us. And if there is, if there isn't, you just make it. And, students are looking for us to be a viable source for them, and families are too. And education right now is being discussed very heavily. I mean, we have the stage, but for the first time in a long time, people are really centering a lot of their conversations, legislation, money, funding. We really are really talking about this more and ever. Technology is really allowing us to really be interconnected more than ever. So I think that teachers and those who are thinking about those problems that are in front of you, really position yourself to really think about what are some solutions. So there is a solution to the teacher shortage. Someone has the $1 million answer to that, right? I don't probably know what the answer is. So instead of just talking about the problem continuously, someone is waiting for somebody to solve that problem because somebody is going to make money off solving that problem, trust me. So it's a matter of positioning yourself to be solution oriented and really thinking about, okay, what is the solution to this? And centering children in all of that. Education is one of those things where you can't really be self-centered in that space. And so really, if you position children first always, if you build it, they'll come. So
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness. And you're so right. Someone is going to figure this thing out because I know a lot of teachers were saying, oh, you know what? You can get us housing. You can pay off our student loans.
Someone will solve this problem. Someone will figure that out. And when they do, it'll be a multi-million-dollar business, but someone will figure out the teaching shortage in some capacity. It will be resolved. So I think it's important that we like, again, the problem I saw was disrupting preschool to prison pipeline. The problem I saw was that parents were looking for more of a intimate setting when their students are learning. The problem I saw was that a lot of, even when Black people are affluent, they don't have access to your Montessori and your regional schools because it's a private business. People just don't think to go into those communities. And so there's a problem that someone is waiting for you to give an answer to. So, and there's so many problems in education. I don't mean to be malice, but someone always wants to make education better. And usually those people are not educators. So I think it's important for educators to be the ones and be in the forefront of delivering not only those conversations, but delivering those answers and those resources. And so it's great to see more of us in those consulting and leadership roles. And so, and I have these speaking engagements. I've been in several this year because of COVID, people on Clubhouse and those other platforms, everybody's on and talking around. It's great that we're seeing this visibility of educators, because you're right. I don't think if it was for social media, you probably wouldn't even have known that I even existed. And so I think that we have to really, I don't want to use the word capitalize, but we have to really maximize these opportunities. And again, keeping children the center of what we do.
Ooh, you have said a whole word, okay? I mean, from representation to us Black women doing the thing, okay? I have seen so many like historical, I should say, moments recently, even with your story. And I've seen other ladies just doing some great things in leadership. I am starting to see, even in our school district here in Texas, the Crowley ISD, I'm starting to notice the leadership is changing as well to more Black females. And so with that, I mean, that just is an awesome feeling to see that, like you said, there are platforms and there are more opportunities. And like someone is going to figure out this teacher shortage. I once heard a speaker say, always look for what problem can you solve? And you even said that tonight. And so we all are equipped and anointed to solve some problem, whether it's in education, whether it's in cooking, whatever that is, we have been called to solve a problem. But I have enjoyed this conversation. I am inspired. I am telling you congratulations again and again and again. Continue to do great things there in your area. And if you want to come to Texas, hey, we would love to have a Discovery Lane, Texas. But thank you so much for being our special guest tonight.
Oh yeah, it's always my honor, Lakeisha. I appreciate the opportunity. The pleasure is always mine. And so, I thank you again for allowing us to share our story. I know it's great that I have an opportunity to do so, but it is truly, and I am always immeasurably grateful for being championed in this space, and our team is as well. We have a great dynamic educators, and this is not done in a vacuum, and it's certainly not done by itself. And so I applaud all of our teaching team and administrative team for all the efforts that they do, especially amidst everything that's going on. They always do it with a smile, and they do it professionally. And again, in the best interest and heart of the children and families that we serve. So again, I'm obviously the spokesperson today, but I'm sure they express their sentiments and their honor for always, allowing people to hear our story.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay. I was just really talking up a storm, but I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of times we forget about the people who are in the background that are really helping to hold up and to move the vision ahead. So we think,
if anything, I'm in the background.
People would think you're out front,
Yeah, no, I'm in pictures, sure, but like if anything, like they see the parents day to day. I'm in the background, really.
Right.
So yeah, no, they're in the foreground. It was kind of like it most times because, again, you have to know your place and your space in your business. And so they're a dynamic team. And so we work definitely very cohesively together. We're a family. And I very much am honored to work with her every single day.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations to you all. Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us here at the Open Book tonight on Zoom and on Facebook. Y'all, we have some exciting things coming up again, so you have to tune in. Also, follow us on the Open Book Book Club Facebook page to get more information, to see the videos, and to get more information about upcoming events, okay? We have a guest author that will be joining us on the next Open Book about You Can't Blink If You're Broke. So I am looking forward to learning more about that book. But thank you all. We hope you all had a great time tonight and really enjoyed this conversation. And we hope to see you all next time. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.